Hi, welcome back. At this point, I would like you to sign up to Project Pulse. We provided you with a link that when you click on, you can now sign up to Project Pulse. Once you signed up, you are going to land in the projects area. You probably are going to have only this plus button, and otherwise this whole thing is going to be empty. Once you start creating projects, your page will fill out with these project tiles that all of them will be created by you. In this case, because this is my account, so all these projects were created by me. Each of them is a project tile, and so this is actually the My Drafts area is a teacher-only area. This is where teachers author their project before they assign it to the class. The plus button, as I said before, helps you create new projects. There are 3 ways to create projects in Project Pulse, one of which is by using the Project Pulse catalog. And this is actually the way that we recommend that you start using Project Pulse. When you hover over any of these projects, you get the clone button is revealed, which allows you to actually copy these projects and get your own copy from the catalog. So once you do that, once you click on the clone button, your project will show up in your My Drafts next to the plus button. It always shows up next to the plus button. And that is going to be your own copy, the copy that you can actually edit and change it to fit your needs. So let me go back for a minute to the Project Pulse catalog and introduce you to the different types of projects here. And really the purpose of this lesson is that I taught you already about what is project-based learning and the characteristics of project-based learning and what project-based learning is not. And what I would like to do here is to introduce you to our Project Pulse catalog and to show you the different types of projects that exist here and allow you to go through them and to see which ones actually qualify to those characteristics that we mentioned in our course about what is project-based learning. So before I do that, I would like to first introduce you to the catalog and to the different types of projects that we have here. Not everything in the catalog is project-based learning, which is why I would like to show you the different types that we have. And after that, I'm going to let you to browse around and to look through these projects and decide which ones are those that really qualify to be, a classical project-based one, versus, just inquiry projects or any other types of projects that we have here. So we start with, we have starter projects. These are the projects that we recommend that, beginners start with. The reason is that, a class can finish this in a day or 2. And they are usually only 1 tab, no more than 1 tab. We have different types of projects here. For example, one of the ones that are being used a lot is the brainstorming template. And the reason is that this is something that you can utilize for almost any subject. So definitely teachers love the brainstorming template because they can actually apply it to almost anything. We also have the entire GLAD series. So, again, these are all 1 tabs. And they, in most cases, they are just an inquiry and no more. It's not a project-based learning. So for example, an exploration, the GLAD exploration report. It's only 1 tab. These are all tabs. When you go into the project, you see it. So it's only 1 tab. And all students do is they are looking at these pictures or any other pictures that the teacher puts here for them to explore. And they have to come up with some observation, with a question, and with a prediction about the pictures. That's all. So this is really, you understand, it's a simple inquiry, nothing more than that. And yet it's a valuable learning experience, but it's not project-based learning. So other types of project, we have templates. Templates are more general subjects. So for example, if I'm working on a historical event, any historical event, then I can use my historical event template. This is not one tab, it's a series of tabs, yet it covers a historical event. Again, so you find many of these, many of these general types of projects, for example, biography, any biography, or science investigation, any type of science investigation, any type of book reports. You understand the idea. It's not subject specific in this case. Subject specific would be lesson plans. Lesson plans are more subject specific. So here you will find things like, amazing animal adaptations, or, everybody on the move, or is human activity influencing climate and what can we do about it? So all these things, you can find different types of very valuable subject specific projects here. And then we have completed projects, and completed projects are projects that have been completed by students. And the reason we created them is because we wanted to give the teacher an idea what to expect from students when students finish this project. So these are, as I said, finished projects. So you can go in there and check it out and see, what these students have provided. And then once you wait to see the project that your students have created for you, you can see if this is really up to the level or not. Finally, we have the single tabs. And the single tabs, we created them because this is, we wanted the teacher to be able to customize projects to fit the teacher's specific needs. If the teachers go through the catalog and cannot find any project that applies to whatever she or he want to teach, then we have a whole series of one tabs here that can be mixed and matched in different ways and combined to fit into a project. So for example, the teacher can start with a question template. And then the teacher can go in and say, okay, now I want my class to make an observation. So she can combine a question with observation, and then finally with problem based on observation. And since we have the wizard tool, the teacher can combine these three together, and there is a project. And here is a project. And so the teacher doesn't need to design it from scratch, but at the same time, the teacher has the freedom to customize it and to fit her or his needs. So these are the types of projects that we have. So what I now, as I said before, my goal in this part of the lesson is that I would like you to now take all your knowledge to take into this Project Pulse catalog, go through, browse through the different projects, and analyze it, as you remember the characteristics of what project-based learning is, and see if it qualifies to be a project-based learning. Now we have different levels of those classical project-based learnings in here. Some of them are completely project-based learning, and you will find almost every characteristic you will find in them. Some of them are just inquiry, just simple inquiries, and not project-based learning. So let me show you one that is just simply an inquiry, the math of obesity. And this project, this is just one tab, and all students do here is they have a link to a website that has information, has actually charts about obesity. And here you can scroll down until you get to the area where the charts are. And then let's say that we are interested in high school students' obesity levels. And then we can scroll down again and see and go by state. and the information is provided to us as we go here. Now, it is one of the most important skills to learn is to be able to understand charts and be able to interpret the data. So in terms of learning value, this has amazing learning value, but it is not project-based learning. So all the students do is they learn to interpret charts, and then they look at the question and answer question based on what they see. Now, let's look at something else, another project. Another project that I wanted to show you would be, and let me go back to the catalog here, would be, for example, oops, let me go to lesson plans here, and would be, so you want to be a chef. Let's see if this qualifies to what we learned about what project-based learning is. So we said that, you know, usually a project-based learning has the students have to learn a lot of background information. So in this case, it starts with actually understanding the food of a specific culture. And so in this case, the culture and its food. So let's say, you know, somebody wants to do about Mexico, Mexican food or Italian food or whatever, or French, and so on. So of course, this needs to change and everything. So these kids are going to start by actually doing research about the specific type of food and what are the typical ingredients and what is the trend and so on and so forth. So, you know, definitely it is anchored in those core subjects that we were talking about before. Then moving on from here, the kids will also understand the history of this type of food. And so they will go on, you know, how food changed over time, origins and so on, impact and the future of this food. But the next step, of course, once they understood all these things, now they are ready to start cooking the food. And cooking the food, in this case, they are just actually showing us images of how they cook it. So they will replace these, of course, with their cooking experience. And they will even describe it using this annotation. They will describe how they do each step. And or they will use the events tool to show step by step how this whole thing was done. In this case, here comes the part where they need to actually iterate. Because, you know, as any cook knows, the first experience is never successful. You have to do it again and again until you reach perfection. So this is definitely one of those parts that they need to try and trial and error kind of thing. Oh, maybe I need to do this, maybe that, and so on. So you understand how this definitely qualifies to that iterative process that we were talking about. And finally, the cookbook. This is where they already are becoming somewhat of experts, and they now can list for us a few recipes that are typical of this kitchen, and not to leave out the self-reflection or reflection in general that we are also talking about. Here are a bunch of questions that they can use, guiding questions, and here they will actually describe to us, you know, how was their cooking, their whole getting acquainted with this type of food, and also the entire culinary experience of cooking this food and so on. So they will describe, they reflect on the experience. They will also here tell us what they think if they want to become chefs. What are the steps that they actually need to take in order to become a famous chef that cooks this type of food? So definitely, this is, as I said before, this is a TPSP project, and it definitely qualifies to be a project-based learning. What I would like you to do at this point is I would like you to go through the projects in the catalog, and to check out projects. All you have to do is just click on the name and it opens it up. This is another TPSP project, and just go through the tabs and check them out and see how these projects qualify to be project-based learning or just inquiry-based, you know, things that you can do with your class for a day or two. And that is it. So thank you very much. Thank you for being with me and in this class. And I hope that you have a successful browsing of new projects.